did, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I did suggest to Georgette that a couple of the things in the future is to have our students here connect with the students there back and forth, and perhaps become pen pals, and they can talk among themselves. That's one way. And a second thing would be is over the course of the year, students could send from Bowmanville to Thunder Bay, or from Thunder Bay to hear some of the accomplishments that they're doing out in the community, or what they're doing at school, or how their programs are going. More of a dialogue to go on for for the future,
Sure.
rather than trying to compress everything into the sort of interview model, where this is going to be a presentation, so they've got free wheel for 20 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little different, more just a change from the interview kind of thing.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad you could make it, Georgette. I forgot too that the time zone is an hour difference too.
No, I think we have the same time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Maybe it's just me when I go to Thunder Bay, I'm zoned out.
because it's 7:30 here.
Yeah, okay, that's right. I was
Yeah,
thinking of
so-
Sioux Lookout, that's all.
And Fred Kelly did join us too, eh? So she's-
Oh, hi, Kelly.
Mm. And
Good.
Kelly has put together new criteria for our bursary award selection.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Should be interesting. Well, this way you'll get a feel for the meeting and what you're dealing with, and what the agenda kind of looks like and how it goes. It's pretty flexible and all of that stuff. It's a very inviting environment.
Yeah. The first speaker just is an interview format today, just because they don't have a presentation, but they have a great story to tell. So that's what we're doing.
I can see that Nicole and Ava, I can see their name.
It's Ava. There's Nicole. There's Ava.
There's Ava.
Oh my, look at that.
Your kid, so obviously it must be a teenage thing, because Hannah and Lucas have the same lights in their room.
What is that? Is that like a bedroom, or is that a nightclub or something?
It feels like. Here, let's move us closer here.
Oh my.
And I'm
Harry
assuming
has the same
Ava-
lights.
Yeah, and they change colors too, I bet.
Yeah, Harry has the same ones.
You change to music. I think you can talk to them and they flash on and off.
Ava, are you still on Tokyo time?
A little bit.
Yeah. So what time is it now? 14 hours? Is that what it is?
It's a 13-hour difference. I'd be 13
13.
hours ahead of you.
Yeah. So it's evening now.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's more so that we asked a 15-year-old to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
She's a 3-year-old brother. We don't get to sleep in here.
Wonderful.
How's the culture shock, Nikki? Or Nicole, or Ava? I keep looking at the house. Some culture shock back in Bowmanville?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was different. I don't think they got to do much, so there's not much change sitting in a hotel room from one place to another.
Did you get a chance? I'm just sort of guessing what we can talk about. I'm doing the interview. Did you get to see many of the other, when you were after you were finished? Did you get to watch a lot of the other performances, like the other events?
So I was allowed to go and watch the gymnastics in the gymnastics like venue area, but I wasn't allowed to go out and watch all the other events. But there were specific TVs in the village that gave you the channel to every sport, what time of what day that you could watch it.
Yes.
And they were set up initially to watch solely the Olympics.
Could you get together with other Canadian athletes and watch, like, the soccer game and other Canadians competing?
So you had to have a mask on, but outside there was like a terrace, I guess you would call it. It was basically like fake grass. And there was like a screen, kind of like a projector, but like there was no projector. It was basically just the screen. And you could watch, like, if there was like big games, like a soccer game or something, pretty much there was like a couple people or like everybody out there to watch it.
Did everyone go nuts when Canada won the soccer game?
I'm assuming so, but I was already back home by then.
Oh, okay. Did you go nuts?
I'm not really into soccer, but I
Okay.
am excited Canada won.
That's for, yeah, okay. Well, we'll talk about it when we actually get to where we're going.
So somebody's joined us by phone, but I don't have a name. Who's that?
Dave,
Who is it? Sorry.
Sully.
Oh, hey, Sully.
Hey, Sully.
Oh, Sully. Sully has a name. It's actually Dave. I thought his name was Sully.
Dave.
Peter. About how much time do you need today?
Oh, it's very short. I think I was given 5 minutes, so that'll be lots.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a video to show right off the bat. So
Yeah.
you got to share your screen. Hopefully I can do it. Okay, here we go.
So we're gonna do the intro first, though, Joe, right?
Yeah. Well, throw it to me, and
I
then
will.
I'll say a couple of lines because I want to let the video sort of do an introduction. You'll see.
Yep.
It's all planned out.
Sully, I've been meaning to come and see you, but work happens.
Yes, I understand that.
All right. Why is this doing this? Uh-oh, what's happened? Jesus, not that. There we are. Are people looking at my screen?
Yep.
Well, we don't want that, do we?
Yeah.
How do I stop share? Okay.
Okay. All righty. So good morning, those of you who got up nice and early and joined us this morning. I think we're going to get started. So welcome everybody to the August 10th meeting of the Bowmanville Rotary Club. Hopefully we're counting down the Zoom ones. I'd like to welcome, we have some guests with us today from Matawa First Nations. We have Kelly and Georgette, who are going to be with us this morning and again next week, so that's exciting. And also, of course, we have Bowmanville's own Ava Stewart and her mom, Nikki, who are joining us. So very excited to talk to you ladies. So welcome. We will have a toast to Rotary and service above self. And we are going to, Rachel, not me, is going to share her screen. And if you're comfortable standing, we are going to have O Canada this morning.
All right, can everyone see it?
Yep. Oh, no sound, Rachel.
Oh. Sorry, I did this last time.
Yes.
Rachel, if you unshare, and then when you reshare, select in the bottom left-hand corner, share computer audio.
Yeah, I'm on multi-screens and this is what always messes me up.
This is why I asked you to do it, not me.
I know, I thought I could do it twice, but apparently not. Share sound, okay. All right, I did this last time, messed up, and I'm gonna try messing up less next time. Okay, so this is the one I want.
Perfect.
Wir halten Wort dir treu. Esse manito. Wir o Canada, stringiamo il tuo bel cor. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you, Rachel. Third time will be seamless, I'm sure.
Hey, I didn't see any Greek there.
Ted, you have our invocation this morning? Oh, you're on. There you go.
I'm found the unmute button. May we be strong in virtue, firm in time of trouble, and always ready to help others in time of.
Good. I think, did we pause him?
I think he may be frozen.
I think so.
Lost connection.
Yeah. And our land acknowledgement, we'd like to acknowledge that here in Bowmanville, we are on the territory covered by the Williams Treaty, and that this land is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We offer our gratitude to Indigenous peoples for their care of the land and their teachings about our earth. Pauline, can you share with us any birthdays and anniversaries?
Yes, President Amy. This week, Rotarian Lyle Gooden, while he's off, I think he's trekking around someplace, but he's going to celebrate a birthday on August the 12th. And also Rotarian Gail Nyberg, she'll be celebrating her birthday on August 14th. That's it for birthdays, but Junior Afano and Neha are celebrating their wedding anniversary also on August 14th. And that's it for celebrations.
Perfect. Okay, we've got Ted back, I think. Okay, Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, I'm just going to share my screen right here. There we go. I'm going to share this because, and now I'm going to, where's the sound? Where's the sound thing again? Oh boy, hang on a second. You know, I did this again. Sorry, Rachel, you have to come over and show me how to do this. Share screen, share sound. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to let this video introduce our guests this morning.
Ava Stewart. Ava. Here's Ava Stewart, a teammate of yours at Gemini Gymnastics, a first-year senior now eligible for the Olympics due to the delay to the 2020, what were originally 2020 Olympics. And by the way, Canada will name its Olympic team on June 17th, and the selection committee will have a very tough decision figuring out which 4 women to send to this year's Olympics.
They really will, Brenda. It's been amazing seeing this little one grow this past year, especially on bar. She brings terrific skill, and her dismount is very unique.
So, very good. Can people hear me? Whoopsie, whoops. Are people seeing this?
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad.
Okay. Let me just stop this for a second. Sorry about that.
Boy.
Okay, let's just stop that. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Here we go. That was, let me just get back here. Boy, oh boy, this screen sharing stuff is crazy. Have you? Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. We've got it back here. So that, of course, was Bowmanville's Ava Stewart from the 2021 Canadian Gymnastics Championships. They were done virtually earlier this year. She finished second all around, and the 15-year-old gymnast was chosen as one of the 4 members of Canada's Olympic team and is back from the games in Tokyo, where she did us all proud. And she is here with, along with her mother, Nikki. Hey guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Oh, there you are. Okay. Nikki, do you want to just move in a little bit? There you go. Okay, that's very cool. So Ava, what do you think when you see yourself on screen? You look at like every little mistake or something like that?
Yeah, basically.
You know, I'm going to ask you about Tokyo, but first I just want to ask you, you know, watching that, I'm just struck by how hard you must have worked to get to that level. I mean, the second overall in Canada, that's pretty impressive. It must have taken hours and hours and years of work, and you must really love gymnastics. So what is it you love about gymnastics? Why do you keep doing it and working at it? And what do you love about it so much?
Well, I like the feeling of when you accomplish a challenge, when you move past a certain barrier in gymnastics. But like, it's not even just the flipping around that's amazing. It's also the bonds you've created with gymnastics, how far you want to see that you can go, the friends that you have in the gym, just stuff like that.
And you talk about a barrier, crossing a barrier. Is that like, is there a barrier one has to cross to become elite? Like, what do you have to do?
Well, so up until now, so there's levels in gymnastics. You can go from level 1 up until level 10. And then there's junior national, which is you're under the age of 16 and competing against other kids under the age of 16 all over Canada. And there's senior, you're over the age of 16, and so is everyone else. You're competing against Canada. But basically, ever since level 1, you're always trying to move to the next level. You're always trying to get new skills. You're always trying to, basically the overall goal of gymnastics is perfection. You're trying to perfect everything.
And so as a 15-year-old, you were competing because you turned 16 this calendar year, you were competing as a senior, which allowed you to go to the Olympics.
Yes.
There were a few other 15-year-olds at the Olympics, weren't there?
Yes.
Gymnastics from Russia, I think, and other countries.
Yes, there was Russia, and I think there might have been some from Great Britain.
So on the bio on the website, it says that you started gymnastics at 18 months in a parent-taught class. That was in Tennessee. Pardon me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you don't remember much about that, but that was in Tennessee, where your mom was living and where your parents were, and before you moved to Bowmanville. And it says that you also started competing at age 6. At what age did you start dreaming that you could one day be in the Olympics? When did that start to kick in for you?
I feel like every kid at some point just kind of believes that they're good enough to make it to the Olympics. So I guess it started like whenever I first saw the Olympics were a thing. But it never started becoming a reality until like a year ago.
And why is that? Why did it not be a reality before?
Because the Olympics, as everyone knows, it's a really tough thing to get into. Basically, it was more like a dream before. It was more like I hope I make it. Like I never actually knew what was gonna happen because it's really hard to make it there. It's not like a normal thing.
Right. So how did you feel when you were chosen? I mean, you knew you finished second overall, right? So you knew you were going to get chosen. How did it feel to hear your name chosen as, member of the Olympic team?
Well, I never actually knew, considering it was my first year. Yes, I was making second overall, but I was going up against kids who had been going to world championships and stuff like that before. They've been to international competitions. So I didn't know if my experience was gonna take me out of that. So hearing my name was just amazing. There's actually a video. I started shaking. I didn't start crying though. I don't know why, but I was shaking. I was playing around with my friend's hands, who was actually meant to go to the Olympics before me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I did see that video. But I chose to use the action video instead. So you're there, you get there, and your first event. What's going through your mind in your very first event? You remember, or was it a blur?
Okay, so it was funny because usually I get really nervous for these things. And when I walked in, I liked the gym. It reminded me of a gym that I've been to before. There's the competition of gymnastics that happens in Montreal every year. It reminded me of that. So basically what was going through my mind, I was like, okay, vault's first. Why am I not nervous? And it was
You were wondering why you weren't nervous, and you should have been nervous?
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wow. So describe the experience of being at the Olympics. I mean, they say it's the world's biggest stage. You hear that. I'm sure you heard that a gazillion times. What's it like to compete as an athlete on the world's biggest stage when you've never been there before? Can you describe that?
The good part about it being COVID is it didn't feel like the world's biggest stage. Usually there's thousands of people in the stands. There's cameras following you everywhere. There's everyone in the gym at one time. This time it was in sections because of COVID. Usually you're watching like the Americans and the Russians and like the Chinese, all of them competing at once right in front of your eyes. And you're wondering, why am I here? This time it was different. There was no one in the stands. It was all just cameras and scoring and the screens on the side of the gym. There was in sections, so basically you were with certain countries the whole time. You knew what you were going to be watching when you were training and competing with them at the same time. So yeah, it didn't feel like the world's biggest stage, but for a first international competition, I think that was better for me.
Yeah, well, that's great. Watching, it seemed like the four of you were really close. What does it mean to be part of that team rather than, just off on your own? Because you were in Canada, and what did that feel like?
Well, it was great to finally have someone to have your back, to have someone to talk to, turn to, not have it all just be on you. So that's a great part about having a team.
Yeah, and some of those, like, is it Ellie Black? Is that her name? She's been competing, a long time, hasn't she? She's been to a few of these, so
yeah,
I'm sure she gave you some advice. What advice did they give you to compete, the other girls?
Oh, they've given me lots of advice. I was around them for pretty much a month. They gave me a lot of, they kept telling me I'll have, the more experience you get, the better you'll get, that I have potential. They're telling me how to act and when I'm there, because I don't know. Basically, they were great. They were great mentors throughout the whole thing.
And speaking of mentors, your coach, Elena Dedova, did I pronounce her name correctly?
Dedova, yes.
Yeah, she was a gold medal winner back in Moscow in was it 84, I think?
Yes.
In gymnastics. That must have been pretty cool to have her as your coach. What did that mean to you, the fact that she had been, an Olympian and a gold medalist?
Well, first of all, it means I can trust her. I can trust her process. But that's just basic knowledge. Basically, when I'm in the gym, it's great to have someone who's been through the same thing coaching me, because they know how it feels. They know when something's ready. They know when something's not. They know when we should go for things. They know when we shouldn't. It's great just to have someone who knows what they're talking about in the gym.
Other sports, you score a goal, that's it. It counts as a goal. You get a basket, it's a basket. But you have to, it's judges, right? You're at the whim of the judges. If they don't like something, it's it's going to be problematic for you. How do you stay objective in your feelings about the judges? Do you get like ticked off? Is there? Can you
Yes,
talk about that?
you often get mad at the judges, but the thing is, you're raised in gymnastics having to not care about what the judges are saying. It's mostly basically you forget that the judges are there and you just have to do such a great routine that it doesn't matter how the judges are feeling, they're going to give you a great score. Because at the end of the day, those judges are the same judges that are judging everybody, so it's going to be a fair score anyways.
Mm-hmm. You made a couple of mistakes. I didn't see every routine, and they're hard to find online. I probably haven't been looking in the right place, but you made a couple of missteps or mishaps that you might normally not make. What did you think of your own performance? Were you pleased with how you did? Were you kicking yourself afterwards? How'd you feel?
I was not very pleased, but there's always I'm like, oh my god, I just fell so many times in front of everybody. It was, for the first couple of days, it was not great, and still to this day I'm still thinking, oh, I could have done better. But at the end of the day, you have to think to yourself, I just competed at the Olympics. That's not what I did there, because you can't go anywhere from there. It's what I did to get there. The people are probably going to watch how I got there and what I can do in the future, because I still have a future.
I remember there was an Olympics. I forget which one it was. Kurt Browning who skated probably before you were born, I guess. He was like world champion or second in the world or something. Everybody remembers this who's watching this now. I remember when he fell and he got up and, he finished his routine and he looked at the camera and he said, "I'm sorry." And it was like he was apologizing to all Canadians. And everybody just felt so bad for him. We wanted to give him like a big national hug. Did you feel like you were letting Canadians down? Like, was there any of that? Like, all Canada was kind of like rooting for you? Was there any of that?
Well, I was less worried about all of Canada because, to be honest, gymnastics isn't that much of a big sport anyways. It was mostly just my friends and family that were expecting me to do so well. And they could see my my mistakes that happened, so there was no hiding it.
And Nikki, so let's bring you into the conversation. You're watching this. What was it like watching your daughter? I mean, at the Olympics. I mean, you one of like, I don't know, a handful of Canadian mothers watching their kids at the Olympics. What was that like for you?
It's kind of weird. What are the odds that my kid's going to go to the Olympics and it's the one that I don't get to go to? But no, she did good. She had a couple of mistakes, but she earned her spot. She was there. It was weird seeing your kid on TV. It's weird seeing people talk about your kid on Twitter. That's what's weird.
Yeah.
What were they saying on Twitter? I mean, people are brutal, aren't they, sometimes?
Well, sometimes, but it's not even that. They've actually been very nice to her. Everybody knows that she earned her position, and there's a lot of people cheering for her and rooting her on. They know she's young. She's got a lot to do still.
Yeah, I think, being 15, I know that like here, everybody was rooting for you. Everybody, yeah, I'm sure that the whole town and the whole region was rooting for you. There was a sign, go Ava. I mean, everybody was behind you. And I'm sure that. Was that good support for you?
Yeah, I do like the support. I always have that thought in the back of my head, oh, there's many people who I don't even know they're watching me, but I mostly just thought about my friends and family who are watching me.
Mm-hmm. Nikki, how do you keep that? I think anybody who puts their kid in a sport and they see that they're good, they kind of have to, go balance between, helping your kid do really well and even sometimes pushing them and letting them just be a kid and have a good time. How do you find that? How have you been able to find that balance over the years?
I don't know, like, I don't really feel like it's been honestly that tough. She's been missing school for gymnastics for a really long time. She's probably been out of school at least a couple days a week since what, grade 2, grade 3. A lot of her friends are at the gym, so like she gets to hang out with school friends when she can, but a lot of her friends at the gym, like, they are a pretty tight group. A lot of them, like, some of them have dropped off here or there and have done other things, but they still kind of see each other, especially through social media, that kind of stuff. But I mean, they're the ones that are still there, like, they still hang out outside the gym. They still, when COVID's not around, they can still go to the mall together or hang out at each other's houses, or they'll go to the beach in the summer. Like, so I don't like, while she's probably missed a few things here or there, I think for the most part, it's not been terrible. She's got sisters here and a little brother, so she hangs out a lot with them, whether she wants to or not. But
So you're not worried about her kind of putting too much pressure on herself?
Oh, she definitely puts too much pressure on herself. But as far as social stuff, like, she, I don't know that not everybody gets to do everything, so I'm not sure she can really say that she's missed out on a lot of things. But she definitely puts too much pressure on herself, though.
The story, one of the big stories coming out of the Olympics went way beyond sports, and it was about Simone Biles. And how did you guys feel when all that happened, when Simone basically walked away and said, hold on a second, I don't want this pressure right now. I just can't deal with it. How did you guys feel about that? Nicole?
For me, it was a surprise, but at the same time, it really wasn't. Like, for the past now 5 years, people have been like, go Simone, she's the like, she's the best, she's gonna do amazing, and all of a sudden, like, she's expected to do amazing, even if she's just going to have fun. It's the Olympics. So basically, she was like, I can't do it. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Were your teammates talking about that a lot?
We talked about it quite a bit. But mostly it wasn't really like, it was less of an oh no thing. Like, of course it was bad, but it was more of like, because they were taking it a day at a time to see whether or not that she was going to compete in the all-around finals, in the team finals, in the event finals, all of that. They were taking it day by day to see whether or not she could do it. And basically we were just checking every day, like, we were checking online to see if she was okay to compete that day. So
is it good for the sport that she was able to do that? Good for the sport and for other sports? Do you think that somebody was just, able to put their own mental health first?
Yes, I feel like it's great, because mental health is one thing in sports that isn't taken seriously enough as it should. I've heard stories from the past, people that are like talking about how sick they were getting, how much they were just forcing themselves to do things. And I'm thinking back now, I'm like, that was definitely a mental health issue that should have been resolved. So it's good for the younger generation that hasn't had that brainwashing yet, that mental health isn't an issue.
And you have people who look out for your own mental health then, like on the team and at the gym? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Nikki, how did you feel about that, about when Simone walked away? Because everybody was talking about it.
I think she knows she's got a pretty big platform. She's got a lot of people that follow her. So it's, like Ava said, I think it's good for the younger people to see that if she can do it, then the rest of them can do it. I do have 2 other daughters that play hockey, not, quite to the same level, but I think mental health is probably a pretty big thing that parents need to watch out for their kids, in sports at this level. They spend a lot of time away from us. They spend a lot of time with other adults. And it's, nice to know that this is kind of becoming a thing, that you don't have to worry about other adults, pushing your kids too much, because they don't always have, they've always had, sometimes they have other agendas. I'm not going to say always. But, they want to look good too. So, they don't want, they might not always be thinking of the best interest of, the kids that they're coaching. It's nice that, you know, younger kids are realizing that they can have a say. They can say, no, you know what, I'm not comfortable. Like I'm not in it today. Like I can't do it. It's not always about the results at the end of the day. They've got to be able to have their mind in the game and know what they're doing and trust themselves while they're there. So it's good that she spoke up.
One of our members has put in the chat, there's a great book called Little Girls in Pretty Boxes. Deals with some of the first conversations about mental health in sports like gymnastics. You've probably read about all these things. Amy, I'm going to turn it back to you. And
perfect.
Yeah, thanks so much for talking to us. I'm sure people have questions. So Amy, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Sorry, Wayne, I'm going to start this time. So thanks to Charity, she put a post up. So the night before you were competing. So I was one of those Canadians at 4 a.m. that was watching you compete. And I watched all of your events and you were absolutely incredible. No matter what anybody says, it was phenomenal. But from what I gather, one of your stronger events is the uneven bars. That's the clip that Joe showed us.
It's either the parallel bars or the beam. I feel like beam is typically my strongest, but bars I have the more difficulty of my team.
So can you explain to us, because I know it might not have happened at the Olympics, but it is going to happen, that there's going to be a move called the Stewart?
So it's my dismount. I didn't know when I started that it was like like a new skill. I thought it was just like a really unique one that you didn't see very often. Because it doesn't seem like something that would be new, but in order to have it named after me, it would have to be competed and stuck successfully at an international competition.
So as I said, maybe not this Olympics, but I can see it. There'll be a Stewart. So, yeah, congratulations, Ava. You were phenomenal. Wayne, you've got a question?
Yes, Ava. Two actually. One is, where do you train? And secondly, is your Russian coach there all the time?
So I train at Gemini Gymnastics. It's in Oshawa. It's at the end of Stevenson Road. And yes, my coach is there all the time.
So she lives here in Canada?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Just boggles my mind what you are accomplishing at such a young age. Thank you.
Lloyd?
Yeah, that's a question for Mom. So are you guys a sporting family? Like, where does all this athleticism come from? Are you like, were you and your husband like really athletic growing up? And is that how this came up?
My husband was. I played sports growing up, but nothing super competitive. I think we just have a lot of really active kids and I don't know how to entertain them. So I put people in sports when they're younger and I'm like, somebody else, like run them off some energy. But yeah, they all play something. I got to get them out of the house. Otherwise they drive me crazy.
That's amazing. You guys must be incredibly proud. I can't imagine. Like I'm just thrilled for you.
Thank you. We have another questions for Ava or Nikki? Oh, Chris, yep.
I have one. This is for Ava. When you look at the parallel bars, there's a lot of twirling in the air. And my question is, how do you do that the first time? It's just amazing.
Good question.
How do you get the courage to do it?
I have no idea how I do it for a first time. It's mostly just like, you don't just start off and decide, hey, I'm gonna try this. It's like it's a process. You start in like a lower bar, you get a feeling for it. Then you start on like a bar on top of a pit. Like a pit is basically just like a hole in the ground full of foam. With a bar on top of it, so you can try it on there first. There's crash mats and stuff and resis that are basically just like big chunks of like soft foam covered in like a material that is safe to land on. But basically, if you're ready enough to try the skill, you'll learn to get that feeling for the skill, and basically you work your way up onto it.
So
Great.
Ava, I know
Thanks.
it's your best, beam and but what's your favorite? What's your favorite one to compete in?
I always say bars, but as I've gotten older, I'm not sure anymore. They all just kind of mold into the same thing.
As she's gotten older at the ripe old age of 15.
It's been like 10 years.
Is there any other questions for Ava?
I'll ask one more. Ava, so now when does the training for, was it 2024 begin?
Now, I guess.
She's already back in the gym.
You're back in the gym now.
Yeah.
And when did you get back from Tokyo?
The table, and so what we were trying.
When, I'm sorry?
On the 4th.
On the 4th. Okay. So, well, you gave yourself a few days off. That's cool. What did you learn for the next time? What did you learn that you can take with you into the next games? Everyone always talks about that.
Well, I know what to expect in certain aspects, like the village and the training and stuff like that. I've learned what the atmosphere feels like in the competition gym. Just things like that. I've learned to basically, I've learned that I'm gonna see a bunch of people. I just have to hold my poise, I guess. And just simple things like that.
Do you get to keep your gear that they gave you to compete in?
Yeah.
Cool. That's great.
Other competitions. Yeah.
What was it like to see the Canadian, athletes talk about, wearing that maple leaf, and it means everything. What's it like to put that, the Canada uniform on?
I'm wearing Canada uniforms for about 2 years now, but putting on the Olympic uniforms is just like, it's like so we got it before we competed. It was more of a feeling of, in order to wear this, I have to make Canada proud. So.
Well, you did. You made everyone proud. You made the country proud. You made Bowmanville proud. You made your parents proud. And
I could have not competed and they'd be proud. So.
Oh, that's so nice. This is so true. We are proud of our children.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Ava, you're incredible, and we can't wait till Paris 2024. We'll see you there again.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Very, very well done. You're more than welcome to stay on the line. I know there's more kids in the house, so you probably have things to do. So, but thank you for joining us both, and we look forward to seeing you around.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yeah, she's incredible. Okay, happy bucks. Do we have any happy bucks?
Yeah, I just want to, I have a thank you buck. My mom's been sick. A lot of us have been through that. And people have been reaching out to give me support, and I can't tell you how wonderful that's been. So thank you very much.
Well, if there's anything you need, Joe, you've got a crew here that'll help.
Amy, I've got a happy buck. My business partner, Justin, his son is over in Bulgaria right now competing for Canada. So this is carrying on with the theme in the U18 World Rowing Championships. And he's going to be competing in the wee hours of the morning tomorrow morning, representing us in his 4-man boat.
Very good.
He happens to be the second fastest rower in all of Canada.
Wow.
In his age group. That's my happy buck.
Very good. I'll put in a couple of happy bucks. Just a shout out to the summer squad. They had a rough weekend. The weather was not cooperating with us on Saturday. Sunday was better. Sadly today is not cooperating with them again. But yeah, they've been doing a fantastic job. I'm sorry none of them could join us this morning, but yeah. They're winding up, so if there's anything else we can do to support them, we certainly will, but yeah, they're doing what they can. All right, if there's no other happy bucks, I'm going to turn this over to Peter, who's going to do a community report.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see everybody came out this morning. What I want to talk about this morning was, we talked a little bit when Ava was talking about mental health. We're always concerned about physical as well as mental. And now that we're coming out of the lockdowns, and things are starting to open up again, and the restaurants are opening and stores, and everybody's getting out, and all the local businesses are being recognized for their efforts, and it's all great. But I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to the Orono Crownlands Trails for being able to stay open throughout the whole COVID lockdown, and keep the trails open, keep the maintenance up, actually keep improvements going. They've been working hard out there. Ever since I came to Clarington, I'm out on the trails all the time, and all the different conservation areas, and I'm out everywhere. But for some reason, Crownlands just very quickly became one of my favorites, and so I'm out there quite often. So I don't have any pictures to share with you today. I'm not too good with the screen sharing. I don't have my grandkids here to help me out with it. But some of the things that they've been able to do, just some of their highlights for this year, they completed the parking lot improvements on the Chomsky Road entrance. That's all done, looks fabulous. They doubled it, or more than doubled it, from 13 spaces to 28 to keep up with the demand. There was a lot of cars out on the road. If you're ever out there on a busy weekend, they're lined up for, seems like for miles trying to get in. So it's become a very popular spot. They're also in the process of finishing the parking lot on the northwest side off Taunton Road, which is under construction right now. We're hoping to get that finished soon. They've put in about 3 different bridges along the creek. They put down wood chips. They're constantly out there trying to keep these trails open and keep up with the demand, because there's just been so many people out during the COVID keeping active. There's nothing better than a good hike in the woods to keep you, physically active, keep your mind sharp. And I just want to say I really appreciated that. So one of the things I did was, to show my appreciation, was I volunteered as a part of the trail crew. So we're out there. I'll be helping out, finishing off the parking lot. There's a bit of a delay right now, waiting for the ministry to give final approval on where we're going to be getting the gravel for filling the parking lot. There's a few minor things to finish off. There's some fencing and so on like that. They're going to start brushing out the trails in the next few weeks once the weather gets a little cooler. So I'll be part of that. So that was my way of giving back, and I just wanted to say again how much I appreciate all the efforts that they've done throughout this whole COVID lockdown period. And I'm going to try to organize some walks through the Crownlands, both for Rotary as well as for my other groups that I take out on walks. So hopefully we'll be able to organize something coming up soon. I know Rotary did one last year at Orono Crownlands. I think it was quite successful. Everybody enjoyed it. Hopefully, we might do it soon when the salmon are running and we get out and really enjoy it. It's a great area. There's a lot of history there. It's been good for the local businesses for years. Well over 100 years. So it's interesting, and so again, I invite you all to come out and join us out on the trails. So that's it for me. Back to you, Amy.
Thanks, Peter. I hate to say that I've lived here for almost 20 years and I've never been to the Orono Crownlands.
Well, come on out. I'll show you around.
I'm going to have to change that for sure. Yeah.
Well, I figured while I'm out there walking, I might as well carry some tools and do some work while I'm there. So that's why I decided to volunteer, and it was just something that I really enjoy doing. So.
Well, keep in mind too, Peter, if there's something that you need that you might need a few more than just, yourself, shout it out to the rest of us.
Oh,
we
for
can
sure. Yeah.
come up with something and come out and help.
Yeah, we'll organize a little get together and yeah, it's great.
Perfect. Okay, so announcements. Ellie, can you hear me, Ellie, still? Maybe.
Yes, I can.
Ellie, do you want to give us any sort of an update on the golf tournament?
Oh, sure. Steve Code and Phil Banner and myself, we've been putting together a golf tournament that's going to be on September the 16th at Newcastle Golf Course. We are looking for sponsors, and Phil has the actual document that I've created with links to a web-based platform called Simply K, or as the people in Quebec call it, it's called Simply. I can't even pronounce it. But it's free to any charitable organization. So if you want to put together a foursome to golf, it's $250 per person for a team of 4 for $1,000. And we are looking for many sponsors. Now, I wish Phil was here so he could put together and let you know who is going to be calling sponsors and whatnot. So far, I just launched it on Friday night. So all the links are now live. If you know of anybody that wants to contribute to this and come out and put a team together, we're great. And if you want to sponsor, that'd be fantastic. Any questions, you can certainly reach out to myself, Steve Code, or Phil, and we can answer all your questions. Now, all the funds and money that we're raising will be coming to, sorry about that, coming to the Rotary Club. And our intent is to split the money and give, if not half, but a good portion of it to the Bowmanville Hospital building expansion. That's where it really started from, because the hospital every year had a golf tournament and they decided this year not to do it. It's a lot of work and they don't seem to have the manpower. So Steve Code, who's on the hospital foundation committee, suggested that, well, he was sitting in my living room, we were talking about it, and we decided we would give it a whirl, see if we can pull it together. And as we know, Rotarians are fantastic volunteers. We figured we could pull this off. So that's where we're at right now. But if you want to know any more about it, if you want to put a team together, if you want to sponsor, contact either Phil or myself. Steve right now is in Nova Scotia for another week and a half. But any questions, I'll gladly answer them.
And just to clarify what the Simply K is, Ellie and I were looking at that. Well, Ellie brought it to us. It's a way for people to be able to e-transfer, which is something that we've not been able to do with our account. So that's, a lot of people, that's how we pay for things, right? So yeah. Thanks, Ellie.
Yeah, you can e-transfer, you can do credit card payments, and there is absolutely zero charge. And if we want to look at this to pay our dues, we can look at that farther down the road. But
yeah. So just keep in mind, September 16th, if you're not a golfer, Doug, you're a golfer, find a foursome. I am not a golfer, but I will, but there's volunteer opportunities leading into and the day of. So a reminder that there is a board meeting tomorrow night. The agenda will go out later today. If anybody has anything to add, please send it to me, hopefully by like lunch or 1 o'clock. I'll try and get to it this afternoon. We had a president's meeting with Durham region presidents last night, and Ron Dick wanted me to remind everybody there's a couple of things you can sign up for, specifically new members. There's a workshop on the 25th of August for new members. You don't have to be a new member, but it is encouraged for them. Also, he recommends to sign up for the Tuesday talks, and you can sign up for all of that on district website. I was hoping to have the summer squad do an update, but they're not here. So for those of you who don't know, though, the concerts for today that were supposed to be at Seasons and Strathaven have been postponed again because it's supposed to rain all day. So I think they're going to give it a third try next week. Rachel, is that the plan?
Yes, on Monday. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Is there any other announcements from anybody that's here? John, anything we need to? No. Oh, Steve.
I just got a note from last week. Summer Squad's collecting cases of water at Watson's on the 17th.
Yes. Yep. You betcha. Next week. Thanks, Steve.
And that's for Life in Oshawa that they've been going to a fair bit this summer.
And Rachel, it's my understanding they're kind of booked for next week's meeting, just to give us a wrap on what they've been doing.
Yeah, so they're going to come next week. And for everyone who remembers last year, our summer squad put a little video together about showing us all the good work. They're going to do something similar and just tell us about their experience this summer.
Okay.
Working with the club.
There'll be our, I guess, our community report. So we'll leave room for them.
I've given them 5 minutes, Joe.
Oh, they can have a little longer.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
All right. Okay, is anybody else? We're all small but mighty group this morning. All right. Oh, Steve K. I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm not sure if you're still awake. The status of the Ribs and Brews.
Okay, well, I hadn't really had anything prepared. Chris Zelasco is leading that charge. We have been approved. We have the site at along Clarington Boulevard and Clarington Central Secondary School for the weekend of the 21st, 22nd. So Crystal and the rest of us will be reaching out for volunteer duties, and watch for the website to and the social media campaign to begin in the coming days.
Correct. Oh, but this month, Jennifer, like as in like 2 weeks from now. Yeah. So I did mention it at the, like I said, with the Durham president. So they're going to make sure that all of the other clubs know about it too. So hopefully we can all support each other. So, all right. Rebecca couldn't be with us this morning, so I have a quote that from John Wooden. Be true to yourself, make each day your masterpiece, help others, drink deeply from good books, make friendship a fine art, build a shelter against a rainy day, pray for guidance, and give thanks for your blessings every day. So that was from John Wooden. And I think if there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, I'd like to thank Georgette and Kelly for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. The trial was a success. So as we end our meeting today, in accordance with the 4-way test, we strive to help people. It's what we do. But in order to give of yourself, you must first have something to give. So enjoy life, have fun, and be good to yourself. And as Theodore Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you have where you are. So be well and be healthy, everybody, this week. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Bye-bye.